Well, good morning, friends, and welcome. I'm Connie Hardison, and it is my pleasure to serve on the board at Capital City Unity. I want to thank Marty for opening for us and also for manning the Uber line, and we'll hear from him again at the closing of today. I also would like to thank Gordon. Today, we are celebrating our very special birthday of 5 years since we began our journey together. 5 years ago, our much loved and esteemed Reverend Philip Pierson stepped behind the podium at the Red Lion Inn and gave the first Capital City Unity lesson. And so today it is only right and fitting and appropriate that our Unity Minister Emeritus, Phil, is joining with us from Reno to share our lesson today. Today we continue joining with other churches with virtual services to come together to do what we do best, pray and center ourselves in love and prayer. If you are new to Capital City Unity, we bless and welcome you. We know who you are. You are a child of God. If you would like to know more about us, please check our website at capitalcityunity.org, where you will find a link to our past meditations and lessons on YouTube. Or email us at capitalcityunity.com to be placed on our mailing list. I would also like to remind you and invite everyone to our daily word and prayer time together conducted by Marty Keller each Thursday morning at 9 a.m. It is a loving and moving way to start our day, sharing readings and prayer time together. So please come and join us. Here is the flow of today's phone-in church service. We'll have the reading of the daily word. Then we'll bless the names of the people and the pets in the prayer box. And please email us if you have anyone or anything that you would like us to pray for. We'll do our affirmations. We'll have our meditation song on page 2 in our hymnal, The Lord's Prayer. We'll have our meditation, Bill's message, then the offering and our closing prayer. So I invite you to enjoy this lovely hazy day. Even as we continue to maintain our social distancing, we know this condition is not permanent. We also know how important it is to find ways to stay connected to one another. That connection is so important to our well-being. We need each other, don't we? For we believe and we frequently affirm, whenever 2 or more are gathered in my name, I am there. And now I will read the daily word. Today's daily word is perfect. It's fearless. I am fearless as I live authentically. In the past, I may have hidden my inner light, afraid to be myself. I may have tried to please others by conforming to someone else's idea of who I should be. I may have shrunk from an aspiration, fearing that I would fail in pursuit of my goal. I may have doubted the divine perfection at the core of my spiritual self, identifying with my perceived flaws and feeling small and inadequate. Today I make a new choice. I choose to live fearlessly, drawing upon my faith to believe in myself, my imagination to envision my best life, and my understanding to know my divinity. Bold and brave, I am fearless as I live my life authentically, pursue my dreams, and express my divine nature. Be strong and bold. Have no fear or dread, because it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6. And now to those affirmations that we say together and know at the very core of our being. There is only one presence, one power, and one love active in my life, God the good, omnipotent. Let's say that together. There is only one presence, one power, one love active in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And it is with these words and in this consciousness that we bless the names of all the people and pets in our prayer box, knowing as we speak our affirmations and pray today, we hold them in that healing light of love and peace. We especially appreciate and bless our firefighters today, knowing that divine presence gives them the strength to carry on and succeed in their goal of controlling and extinguishing the fires. We see the fires coming under control with positive changes in weather conditions. We continue to bless our healthcare workers, our police officers, our frontline people, those people who make our world safer today. We bless the clerks in the stores, the truck drivers and farmers, who are all part of an important distribution system for our health and well-being. We bless the peaceful protesters and our political figures, our president seeing healing of that which needs healing and of right action and direction moving forward. We bless all people. Let's affirm together for them, there is only one presence, one power, and one love active in your lives, God the good, omnipotent. Let's affirm that together for them. There is only one presence, one power, and one love active in your lives, God the good, omnipotent. There is only one presence, one power, and one love active in this ministry, God the good, omnipotent. Together, there is only one presence, one power, and one love active in this ministry, God the good, omnipotent. And there is only one presence, one power, and one love active in the world today, God the good, omnipotent. Let's say that together. There is only one presence, one power, and one love active in the world today, God the good, omnipotent. And we pray, O loving presence, comfort and heal those who have been touched by dis-ease or disharmony, whether in our family, our community, our state, our nation, or our world. Immerse them in love. Lead them through the dark times and into the light. Give them the peace that passes understanding, and let them know that they are loved, and love always prevails. Thank you, God. Now, Gordon, will you please take us to our hymn on page 2, the Lord's Prayer. Thank you, Gordon. I love that hymn. Let's prepare for our meditation by placing our feet flat on the floor, our hands gently in our laps, and just closing our eyes and slowly breathing into the count of 5, hold to the count of 5, and exhale to the count of 8 or 10. Do this 2 or 3 times to relax the body and mind and make them more receptive to this peaceful time. Just sit in the presence now, knowing that each and every one of us is a part of all that is. We can never be separate from God, from our divine source. Within me, though invisible, is the presence and power of God, of Spirit. Within me is the kingdom of God. I don't know how it operates. I only know there is a spirit in man, and that spirit within me is the Son of God, my true selfhood. This Spirit of God is within me. This spiritual presence is here to govern my day. It is food, clothing, housing. It is the source of my inspiration. It is that which guides, governs, protects, and leads me through the activity of my entire day. These words are by Joel Goldsmith from his book, Beyond Words and Thoughts. Now, visualize yourself sitting inside a beam of white light, this beautiful white light that is a radiant light of divine presence, that divine source. See it radiate all through you and from above down deep into the earth's core. Put your hand on your heart and give thanks for something that you are grateful for. It may be a spouse, a child, your religion, your spiritual way of being, your food, anything. Just put your hand on your heart and give gratitude, because the heart is a portal for spirit. Now see that light shift and radiate from going up and down to all around you in a beautiful white bubble of light. Focus that light into your heart, and then now let it radiate across your neighborhood, across your city, across your state, and across the entire planet. See it encircle the entire world, sending love and compassion to all. See the world enveloped in this beautiful white light of healing love and compassion. Keep your hand on your heart and just envision that for a moment. See the world enveloped in this beautiful white light of healing love and compassion. Now stay in this state of consciousness as I invite you to listen to this prayer from Unity Worldwide Ministries. We wrap our world in prayer today, knowing God is greater than whatever we face, greater than illness, loss, injustice, and confusion. God is an ever-flowing stream of love and wisdom, pouring through each of us to anoint our earth with healing, harmony, and wholeness. We know that God is a love that has no end and a power that knows no bounds. God's healing power of divine life is restoring, healing, and revitalizing our world in this very moment. We let go of any fears and anxieties, and we affirm that all are safe, healthy, and protected. We bless all those who support us in maintaining vibrant, radiant health. We express divine life in all we think, say, and do. We bless our global family with radiant health, peace of mind, and abundant love. Let's say this together within, keeping our hands on our heart. I am one with the great heart that beats for all. I am one with the great heart that beats for all. I am one with the great heart that beats for all. God is greater than whatever we face. Amen. Now gently bring yourselves back to the present. Draw your energy back to you. Move around a little bit so that you are fully in the here and now to enjoy Reverend Phil's message.
Thank you, Connie. As I listened to Connie, I was thinking, I think I first met Connie when she was a very young woman 55 years ago. You've done a wonderful job, Connie, and I'm so proud of you. It's a real special privilege for me to be a part of your celebration of 5 years of Capital City Unity. I can still remember the energy that went into beginning the work and how exciting and how much fun it was. And I give thanks that that same excitement continues as you go forward in doing the important, wonderful work that Unity has to do in the community of Sacramento. My blessing will always be with you. 5 years or 10 years, whether I'm in this dimension or another, I'll certainly be blessing the work of Capital City Unity. Congratulations on 5 wonderful years. I am pleased to be able to share this message with you today, and I want to begin by reminding you of a story that most of you know probably pretty well. It was when Dorothy and I left Hawaii and came here, and together with the leaders of the church at that time, we were able to find an old bowling alley to make our church home. And we were able to scrape enough money together to actually own the building on paper, but we owed a lot of money and had no idea how we were going to finish this building to make it the attractive church we all wanted. We met Sundays in the old billiard room, which was clean at least, but I still remember it had windows that had red paint all over them. In any event, it was quite a happy event that we had our own facility. But at the executive level, we knew that we had a lot of prayer work to do in order to be able to go forward and complete the building. And one day, one very special day, I was up in my office, which was still sort of a beat-up old room where they used to wash the shoes that they rented for those who came to bowling. And I was there doing whatever at my desk, and I heard Dorothy yelling, "Phil, Phil." And so I went out to the top of the stairs because I was on the second floor, and Dorothy was standing at the bottom of the stairs, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. Her face was absolutely aglow. And you know that Dorothy had quite a glow, so this was a very super big glow. And she said to me, "Phil, my voice just spoke to me. And it said, the best is yet to be. That word was so significant in light of what I've just shared with you that we didn't know how we were going to finish this building. And on this particular day, Dorothy had gone down into the area where at the end of the bowling lanes, which were still there, and the area where they set up the pins are still there, and dirt and everything was all over on the end of those long lanes. And Dorothy, for some reason, had chosen to take herself apart and was sitting down there, and she was talking to God and said, "Dear God, why did you ask us to leave Hawaii, beautiful Hawaii, where we had a home that overlooked the ocean? We had a brand new, beautiful church with sliding doors on both sides. So when you had the services, birds, if they wanted to, could fly right through. It was such a wonderful life." And she was having her time with God and said, God, why did you ask us to leave all of that to come here and to be in this unbeautiful setting? And she said, and I remember she said this word particularly, God, you know how much I love beauty. And with that, the voice spoke to her. And she heard a very audible voice a number of times in her life. And the voice said, the best is yet to be. That's what I want you to know today. I know you certainly lean in this direction, but I just want to affirm it strongly. You can know that the best is yet to be. I mean, you know the story of Phil and Dorothy and how we never dreamt at that point in time that someone would leave the church a marvelous big legacy, and we were able to finish the whole church, and we were able to get on television and serve well over 100,000 people, and how we could have free trips to Hawaii by one of the major airlines at that time so that we could produce a television show in Hawaii. So many things. Truly, on the day Dorothy spoke that word, the best is yet to be, it really was true. I want you to know that in terms of what we're all experiencing today. The best is yet to be for America, and the best is yet to be for you. It's both a personal thing and a collective thing. Recently, as I was working on material for a book that I'm writing now, I was drawn to review Teilhard's work, the wonderful Jesuit priest who gave us the marvelous philosophy around the phenomenon of man. It's a story of evolution. And as those of you who have studied that with me know, he pointed out that at one time on this globe that we live in, we call the world, there was nothing but pre-atomic substance. That's all. Think of it as just an ooze, if you want, and covering the world. And this material, as Teilhard points out, began to multiply and multiply until it began to press in upon itself. And due to the pressure and the coming together of the minute consciousness within each bit of that pre-atomic substance, there was suddenly a transformation, because the consciousness within all those individual units pressing together suddenly produced a new form that was better able to live life than they had. And of course, it was the first atoms that were created. And then Teilhard takes us all the way through evolution, pointing how we went from atoms to pre-molecular material, to molecular material, to megamolecular material, up until the cell, which then created the human, and here we are today. But as Teilhard has pointed out, that process is continuing. It's a process of magnification of numbers and the pressure of proximity. Out of that, because of the reality of that God spirit that is in everyone seeking to manifest itself because of that. At such points of times of pressure, you can know something good is going to break forth upon the world. Just like for Dorothy and I, on the day she said, the best is yet to be, something was about to break out in our lives that was going to allow us to finish the church, get on television, and have such a wonderful ministry. So I'm affirming that for us today, that we're in a process that involves collectively all humanity around the globe. And we are connected more so every day by all of the progress, if you want to think of it that way, and I do. I shouldn't, that sounded funny. I don't mean that. It is progress that our intellectual achievements in science have brought us closer and closer together. So as you know, we can talk to people around the world. We know what's happening today anywhere in the world if we want to, and it becomes more so every day. This, of course, has made it possible for you and I to know all the challenges that are going on in the world, what we're experiencing separately and collectively. And today is an unusual day because there is an additional pressure of knowing that we are experiencing almost the same conditions around the world, health-wise, economically, politically. There are all these tremendous transformations in process, all putting pressure upon the events themselves, but also upon us psychically, in that we are very aware of all this. And we're aware of the many unanswered questions of what can the future possibly hold. And I would say that for you, individually, as you really buy into or claim with all your being the truth, the best is yet to be, you can know the doors will open through you in your life that will allow you to move through this particular period of pressure that we're in and come into many fulfillments of good in whatever area fits your life. You can know that because the very living Spirit of God in you is constantly moving through the pressures of life to bring forth a greater and more wonderful you in terms of life experience and your expression of your God's self. I recently was guided to listen to a dialogue that was on YouTube between two people who I'm sure most of you know well. One is Greg Braden, and the other is Bruce Lipton. I always have enjoyed knowing Bruce very much and have felt a part of his particular work because the first public talk that Dr. Lipton ever gave was at our church. And some years ago when he came to speak at Unity Village, I asked him if he remembered that, and he said he did well. That was his first talk, and he was so thrilled with reception we gave him. In any event, you know, I'm sure Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton have both sold bestseller books about their philosophy. And so they've been sort of a team who've been dialoguing around the world. And this particular dialogue, as I said, was on YouTube, and I enjoyed listening so much because it was another approach to what I've said to you about Teilhar's work that confirms for us that you go from pressure situations into a new level of living and experiencing the good. As I say, it's a slightly different approach, but it's the same principle. And both Greg and Bruce speak from a scientific standpoint. And they were reminding us today that one of the things that science has discovered is that the world goes through periods of chaos. Or I should say, world conditions have always gone through periods of chaos, and out of that chaos has always come some greater good. And so with the support of their long experience in various fields of science, they're affirming this same wonderful truth. The best is yet to be. It's so easy to surrender to the negative energies that are in our world. If you and I are to experience the good that God has for us and to be a part of the transformation of the world, we have to take our stand that we do not surrender to the negative energy of the world, but that we stand strong in the truth of knowing that God is at work in our personal lives and God is at work in the world. I love the wonderful capacity that I was blessed with by Dorothy. I should say by Dorothy's capacity to hear the voice. I remember one time when we were down in the Monterey area, a very beautiful home that someone had let us use for doing our television programs at that time. And Dorothy and I were sitting on the benches waiting for Tom Thompson and his helpers to give us the go to go forward with the program. We were sort of sitting there, and suddenly Dorothy just suddenly leaves me again and gets this look on her face, just, oh, there's my voice. And she grabbed a piece went and grabbed a booklet and began to scribble on it, and she wrote her poem of the day. And that's the way she received so much of her poetry. I'm making a point of Dorothy's voice today, only to say, you see, every one of us have that voice. It's just that some of us still hear it. In my new book, I'm talking about the fact that there was a time, according to some of our scientific research, actually Dr. Julian Jaynes, who wrote The Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind, is the strongest advocate of this, but he has said there's more than enough evidence that at one time everybody heard a voice. Everybody heard a voice. And that voice is the voice of the creative intelligence of the universe that amazingly has the capacity to relate to every individual person in the world, as it has been able to relate to everything in the world. In my new book that I'm working on, I make a point of the fact that what we think of as intuition, or in animals instinct, is nothing but the same movement of this voice. Again, you don't hear it audibly, but today so many of us just get it intuitively. And to have an intuitive life, we have to have a life that is filled with feeling experience, which is motivated by being a lover. That is, being able to love. And as I think has been inferred already through our prayer time and all, once we put our hand on our hearts, this is the controlling consciousness and physical area of our body, right where the heart is. And so when we're in that consciousness of heart feeling, we have the capacity to intuitively know. We don't have to have the audible voice. Intuitively to know that the best is yet to be. As I say that again, I suddenly see Dorothy's face at the bottom of the stairs all ago, and I thought, wow, she was truly on track with having heard the voice, because I could see it in her face, and the excitement that she had was genuine. And so I think of that only to say, live your life with excitement. Excitement for the expectation of good for yourself and for the world. An excitement for yourself and for the world. For you individually, I know God wants you to be guided in the ways of health, wholeness, companionship, prosperity, whatever can better fill your life for good. But when I think today about the world situation, I believe that the pressures have mounted so high that truly something exciting and new is going to break forth on the world, in the world. Those of you who have studied Teilhard with me again know that he believed that there would come a time when the gathering of humanity had reached such a point that there was a psychic pressure taking place around the world that a new creation would spring forth, just as it has done all the way through evolution. And that new creation are the formation of people who express and live with the consciousness, the authority, the love, the beauty that we hold forth for the life of Jesus Christ. That we are ready to create a new humanity that is truly ruled by Christ-conscious people. And it doesn't have to be Christ, it could be Buddha-conscious. It's a God-conscious people. And as I say that to you, I find myself thinking that I am sometimes awed by some of the things that young people do today that we, as a young person, would never thought of doing. I mean, I would guess that if the issue, for instance, of race relationships, which is one of our pressure points today, had come up in my time, I don't think you'd have seen many of my age associates marching in the streets and carrying signs and calling forth for a new consciousness of total freedom from racial bias. That there are so many young people not involved in anything negative, just standing up to the world and saying, this is what I believe in. I believe that we are all equal and must be treated equal. That's a marvelous thing. And every once in a while, too, I see a story, as I'm sure you do, of some really young person who's set up a stand selling lemonade to make money to take care of some poor people or some experience in the city that needs attention and help. I truly can find myself joining with the Teilhard consciousness that there is a new kind of human that's going to be born in our world. And that as we intellectually try to figure out how can the world all get together, you can be sure the Spirit's at work to evolve a kind of human, many humans, who have that capacity to know how to bring this forth, so that we will have truly a one world nation of people committed to the same principles of good. Well, I give thanks that I've had the opportunity to be with you and be a part of this special celebration. With all my heart, I would love to lift any anxiety that's in your hearts today about your future or that of our world. I understand the pressures that you feel, and every once in a while I think to myself, wow, I get tired of being alone. like many of you do, but there's an element in that aloneness that has also been very positive for me. I mean, I can sing my head off, and I don't bother anybody. I'm being funny, but there are many aspects of things that have been forced upon me by this present period of pressure, and it's all for good. So wherever you find yourself in your life, just know for you there's a God presence. You may not hear its voice, but it's speaking to you, intuitively saying to you, don't worry, don't fear, don't hurry, relax. It's all going to work for good. That's true for this nation. That's true for the world. God is in charge. Let's see, I've got a couple more minutes, so I just find myself flipping to something that I shared with you some months back. Maybe it's longer than that now. But one of the lessons that I gave to you folks, I told you something that I've seen over and over again now as a part of the accepted scientific reason for the fact that we have no dinosaurs anymore. And some of you remember when I shared with us, and as I say, it was right on the early cusp of people believing this. But now, as I say, it's fully accepted as what happened. About 66 million years ago, the dinosaurs were in complete physical control of the universe everywhere. They're even in the Arctic areas of the world. But that presence, that we call it the Christ presence in unity, and Teilhard called it the Omega. That Omega consciousness is seeking to bring itself forth into being in a manifest form. And nothing can keep that from happening. Nothing can keep the good from coming forth in your life that the Spirit wants for you or the world. And it was so dramatically expressed in the fact that how do you get rid of a world full of dinosaurs? The asteroid came and hit just where it had hit to wipe out all the dinosaurs, and then the mammals, which the Christ idea knew it had to express through the mammals to bring forth the primates, to bring forth us. And now we're at the verge of a new creation, of a new person and being. God bless you, dear friends. Thank you for the privilege of being with you today. I love you all.
I fell off the call, but I'm back, and I want to thank you so much for wonderful, wonderful words. I was reflecting on 5 years ago that this work that we've been together on for this period is really an outworking of that moment when Dorothy shared the best is yet to be with you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
We are all privileged to be part of this. So thank you very much for being our inspiration and our leader and our way shower in this work here, representing that Christ consciousness that you spoke of so eloquently. So thank you.
It was my privilege, Marty. Thank you for asking me.
You bet. So we're going to continue now our prosperity practice by sharing in the circulation of our good with each other in this ministry. Prosperity results from our awareness of the allness of God, and the allness of God always acting within us. The allness of God gives us access to everything that we need at all times. Tithing to the sources of our spiritual good is an acknowledgement of our faith in this principle. Prosperity then manifests in receiving more than we give. So we thank each of you for supporting this ministry financially, even when the basket is not being physically passed. Information on how to contribute is in the weekly e-blast. And if you aren't receiving this, you can contact us through our website, capitalcityunity.org. So let's affirm together our prosperity affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. God is the source, and I am the channel. So let's close with our prayer for protection as I unmute everybody. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God wherever we are, God is all around.